This is DRF Race of the Day. Hi, everybody. Dan Illman and Mike Beer, the DRF Race of the Day for Friday, June the 11th. Race number 7 at Belmont Park. Let's throw up the field for this optional claiming race. Two other than the condition, $80,000 the optional claiming price for fillies and mares going 6.5 on the main track. Download free formulator past performances for this race on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Access them, handicap along with us. Don't call me Mary. 2-1 on the morning line, Mike. Don't Call Me Mary hasn't been seen since a big victory at Gulfstream Park at the end of March. It's Todd Pletcher, it's Luis Saez, and it's a nice outside tracking post position.
That's all true. I guess you could argue that the last 2 times we saw her, Dan, are the 2 best races she's run. So she was in good form earlier this year. Boy, she'd be tough to take at any kind of short price.
Our friends at Timeform US believe that this pace might end up being on the slowish side. Dealing Justice, Timely Tradition, 2 horses that can go for the lead. But you'll notice that Blue Bar favoring horses on or near the early lead. Do you think the pace is going to be moderate to slow and could hurt the closers?
Yeah, I didn't see a lot of speed in this race. It could certainly help both the 3 and the 4. They're both trained by the same guy, Ray Handel. We'll see how aggressive they decide to get. I guess it could also help Don't Call Me Mary, Dan, the favorite. I mean, I don't think she'll be too far away, but yeah, I mean, I didn't really see a ton of pace in this race.
A horse that might need a little bit of pace is the number 1 Tara's Talent, 20-1 on the morning line. This horse is based at Parks for trainer Mike Moore, going turf to dirt, but taking a big step up in class from her most recent couple of races.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really see it, Dan. I don't see the race that she's run that's going to give her a real chance against this field, assuming everybody shows up.
The runner-up from her most recent dirt race came back to run second at Laurel in a 16,000 starter allowance, only a 66 buyer. Slam Dunk is the number 2, going out for Shug McGahee. This is a daughter of Into Mischief, coming off a runner-up effort behind Odds On Miss Brazil. Let's watch that race at Belmont on April the 23rd, going this distance. And she's on the outside. She tries hard. She is easily second best. Miss Brazil's just much better. She would come back to be the beaten favorite in the Jersey Girl on last Sunday, third with a 90 buyer.
Yeah, I mean, she just Slam Dunk just didn't really have any chance in this race. She's going to wind up being pretty clearly second best in here, Dan, without ever really making an impression. I don't know. I mean, I think she can win this race. I wasn't a big fan of hers when Rudy Brissett had her. I guess you could argue that Shug's gotten her to run a little bit better. Her top 2 figures the last 2 times that she wasn't in a stakes race. I'm just not a big fan of hers.
The first of the Ray Handel trained horses is up next. That's the number 3, Dealing Justice. Very lightly raced daughter of Commissioner. I'm interested in your take on her last race at Churchill Downs. She was dismissed at 13-1 that day. She battled it out early with a 5-2 shot that got very, very tired in the stretch. I think that horse was trained by Wesley Ward. Conversely, Dealing Justice kept right on going and earned a solid 80 buyer.
Yeah, she's run some good races. It feels to me, Dan, like when you watch her run, she really needs to be able to get up there and be part of the pace without too much pressure. Her good races are like that. When she doesn't get that position, she's run a couple of really bad ones. I thought she ran fine last time. I guess she was such a big price last time, Dan, because 2 back at Keeneland, she faced basically the same field. A bunch of the same horses were in there. She couldn't get anywhere near the start, near the lead in there, just chasing, and just didn't run well. But she got a different trip last time, and she made him pay.
Although the horse that won that race at Keeneland, Inject, is pretty good for Brad Cox, and that horse has come back, I think, to win a stake at Prairie Meadows. She's only a 2-time winner. Her uncoupled stablemate, Timely Tradition, is an 11-time winner, and she was 5th at Churchill Downs last time out. I guess a decent field. The 3rd-place horse came back to run 3rd against similar rivals with an 86 buyer. She has races good enough to win, and she has that excellent tactical speed.
Yeah, I mean, I would argue that if everybody just showed up at this stage of the game and just ran the best race they're capable of, I would say Timely Tradition would win this race, Dan. I am a little concerned that she's not in the best form of her career right now. She had a great year in 2020. I personally feel like she's tailed off a little bit so far this year, so we'll see. I do think if she shows up with her best race here, she could win.
Truth Hurts earned a stakes placing at Woodbine last year for our friend Chad Summers, and I get the feeling that this filly is racing herself back into shape. This is going to be her third start of the year. She was in against Miss Brazil first off the layoff, a tough task to be sure. Tell us about the last race. She was on the move early.
Yeah, she was. Off the layoff, it feels like in that Miss Brazil race, I mean, they didn't really have any chance to win that race anyway, but it just feels like they gave her a racer there, Dan. They took her back. They didn't really ask her for anything, just let her run through the stretch. Last time, I did think that they got her on the move pretty early in that race. They rated her back to last from the start, and then they got her on the move early. She was up there in contention all the way around the turn. Again, she weakened in the stretch, but I thought she did a little bit of racing at least last time. And I don't know, I've always had a little thing for this horse. She got off, the start of her career was pretty good. She won the first two starts. They threw in a bunch of really tough races. She actually ran well in that Audubon Oaks at Ellis last summer, too. I think this filly has some talent. She started off the layoff, now cutting back.
And she's also 15-1 on the track's morning line. Don't Call Me Mary is up next. Let's watch her last race. Again, it's way back towards the end of March at Gulfstream for Todd Pletcher, but she wins like an even money favorite is supposed to win. She just sweeps by them on the outside and goes clear with an 80 buyer. She can break a little bit awkwardly at times, and this layoff off the win is a little bit concerning for me, but it's also Todd Pletcher off layoffs. Maybe it shouldn't concern me at all.
Yeah, I guess you don't worry about him off layoffs too much, but I agree with you. I mean, it's kind of interesting to see her go away. I mean, she had just run the two best races of her career off of a layoff already, and now she goes away again. I feel like that's not a great sign for her. I guess we'll see if she takes a step forward. I do think as well as she's run for Pletcher the first two times this year, I think she has to improve to beat this field.
I won't be surprised if the 7 Finding Fame goes off favored in this spot. She is the second of the two Shug McGahee trained runners in this heat. And we'll go back to her most recent start on May the 15th. This is her first start off of a February layoff. And as you can see, they all have a chance turning into the stretch. She just happens to be 5 wide, and she'll end up second best to Alondra. The horse that was 5th in this race, though, did come back to finish second at this level with an 86 buyer. I like to try Finding Fame showed off the layoff here.
Yeah, she ran fine in this race. I do kind of feel like, and listen, at the end of the day, they were probably just the two best horses. She lost to her stablemate Alondra there. But I feel like they got the best trips in the race also. Alondra right up the inside. This horse sat off. If she'd have to come wide, I'm sure that cost her something at the end. Another horse, Dan, I know that she can win this race. I'm not a huge fan of her. She's going to be a short price in this race. Not a horse I'm afraid to take a shot against.
Well, let's try to get some prices in our Friday race of the day as we throw up our top selections. Truth Hurts, 15-1 on the morning line. Do you think she can stay close if this pace is moderate to slow?
Yeah, that to me, that's the biggest worry. You don't want her to be too far away if they don't go fast in front of her. I don't think she has to be totally outrun, Dan. I just want to give her one more chance. I don't love anybody in this race. I don't want a short price on either the 6 or the 7. I wanted somebody else. I'm going to give Truth Hurts one more chance. I like her cutting back.
According to Timeform US, the two speeds in this race are conditioned by the same trainer, which makes me think that they're not going to go out and engage in an all-out duel. And since Dealing Justice seems like the type that might need the lead, I think Dealing Justice is going to be handed the lead by her uncoupled stablemate. I liked what she did at Churchill, but I do realize this is a step up. She is 8-1 on the morning line, although with Joel Rosario aboard, that could take a hit. 5-2-7-4 for Mike, 3-2-7-6 for me. The Friday race of the day is the 7th at Belmont with an approximate post time of 4:08 Eastern. Best of luck.